strong players in every lane. Who do you attack? Where do you go? Where do you actually allocate both the resources in draft and in game?
And luckily for us, Azeo, we don't have to figure that out. That is the duty of Fongbu Buffalo. We'll see which lane they want to attack, how they want to approach as we enter pick and bans for what very well could be the final game. TL up to match point, 2 wins ahead currently. And the pick ban will be the same so far as it was in game 1. The Aurelia, the Jarvan, and the Akali would need to be the final ban if TL wanted to keep it consistent.
I'll be interested to see if PVB just full on all 3 games are triple banning CoreJJ. I do think that's something that they could have tried to swap up. Yes, CoreJJ is a monstrously strong player, but they have lost twice in a row when going up against them. I wouldn't be surprised if these teams had been scrimming though, so perhaps they just had no success when CoreJJ was given some of these champions, and that does make some sense. But when you're talking about adjustments in pick ban, it does seem like an obvious one. Hey, maybe try to push down the Soul Lane, or say maybe try to push down Smithy even further in that jungle and try to get an advantage there.
And now we are seeing adaptations from Team Liquid, who have opted to take Pallet off of the Galio, his most successful pick thus far in the series. He played it game 1. Lots of clutch engages, and the Jace will be the final ban here. So the Sona Taric still up and available. Question is TL willing to take one half of it just to deny it from the opposing team? And are PVB one of the teams in this group who are going to be comfortable executing it and making it to the stages of the game where it can just take over?
Yeah, that's definitely a big question. And you have to think that if they're going to leave it up, someone is going to be willing to grab it. So Taric taken. I do think that PVB can grab the Sona as an answer. Most teams are unwilling to do this though and feel that the Taric is better by himself than the Sona is. So a lot of teams are actually looking at like this as giving over the advantage to your opponents. That being said, if PVB are unwilling to give over that composition, they may have to make the play. We did see the answer in play-ins was Varus Blitzcrank. That could be something that they would go towards. One half of that has been locked in, but I mean, you can still go Varus Sona, have a very dominant 2v2. You're just so at risk of the ganks, and that is going to be the option. So Smithy now, I expect them to try to grab an early game jungler who can look to punish some of these range supports. It also is more difficult as you're going forward in the game to actually be able to play around vision, because the Sona face checking into any sort of carry can get burst down immediately. That being said, Sona is still this kind of fountain of health in the later stages of the game, and you do scale incredibly well.
Yeah, and now we might see the pick coming in here for Double Lift. It looks like the Tristana will be locked in. Now to go up against that lane. So not quite as strong early on, but something that scales very well later into the game.
And this is something that I've actually seen them play together, both the Tristana and Taric. So you can use this actually very aggressively alongside your jungler. You actually throw your Bastion onto that Tristana, and as the Tristana jumps in on the Sona, you will throw down the Dazzle, landing the stun, landing the slow, and looking to actually burst down that Sona. So that is something that you can see them going for when Smithy comes down to help.
And now things continue to get, I think, a little bit scarier for PVB in the sense that the Silas has once again been picked up by Jensen. He had a monster performance in game 2, and when you look at the 2 ultimates currently available to him, he's essentially when you take the crescendo, you're Sona, but without the without being super squishy. You can leap face first into the enemy team and throw a 5-man ult down and just win the game,
and likely with a lot more AP.
Yes.
So that is certainly concerning. Rise gonna be grabbed up here for PVB though. And this is a flex pick, could be going up to Zeros, could be down to Null. I do think that, for Zeros, that would make a lot of sense, given the style of play we have seen Impact on. If Impact wants to sit in a side lane and play 1-4, well, great. Rise could do that too. Rise can happily match that sort of a play, so I do think that would make quite a bit of sense. PVB back again to targeting Smithy. With Sejuani off the table, you think that, hey, it might be the Skarner again. Skarner certainly someone that can really prey on some of these squishy champions. If you do get ulted up by a Skarner as a Sona, you are pretty much donezo.
Yeah, and I'm curious if what we're going to see the adaptation be on the side of PVB. Once again, down 2 games. The onus feels like it's on them to adapt. So far, it has been the Rise and the disruption of the Sona Taric combo. Lee Sin taken away from Meliodas. A lot of respect shown to him, and understandable if you caught the first game. Huge playmaking and some clever use of a kind of fog of war to find some very opportune plays.
Yeah, definitely the case. And they may want to try to continue to take away some more of his other options. He did play a couple of Gragas games. If Smithy wants to deny that from Meliodas, that could make quite some sense. The only other champion that Meliodas played during play-in was actually the Kindred, which would be available for them to grab up. But I do think that, that jungle pool is going to be pretty critical here when you want to fight around that bot lane, when you want to try to punish the Sona.
And it's a difficult situation for PvB to be in, because while the Kindred is immensely powerful, LeBlanc will be the ban in the end, Also, you need to think, like, Meliodas has had his most impactful games on early game champions, and that has often been what has set the pace for PVB and helped them find wins. So Rek'Sai will now be the choice here as it's passed back to TL to round out their composition.
I think Gragas is fairly likely. We could see Smithy going another direction, if he feels he has to. There certainly are other options. You can go to things such as the Olaf, which I have mentioned a couple times. That has been something that he has been pretty consistently willing to play throughout the LCS. Hecarim also works very, very well alongside the Taric. We've seen that with Sona Taric. This could be both jungle or top, but if Yakali gets locked in, you're certainly thinking it is jungle. And with Smithy sitting on Ghost, it's almost guaranteed to be that jungle Hecarim. So this is giving them some incredibly powerful hard engage. When you are looking at Hecarim, you throw over that Bastion onto him, you throw the Dazzle out as he is charging in, you drop the Taric ultimate, you now have this composition that is charging forward into PVV, invulnerable with a ton of burst into some very squishy, low mobility champions that have been drafted on the side of PVB. There is only one champion that has any sort of a dash, and it's Rek'Sai has the tunnel, right? Like, that's about it.
And PVB now opting to fight fire with fire, putting a cannon in on the top side of the map. You want AoE CC. Both teams now have the potential to provide it. And huge, huge game. Impact, though, has incredible ults to pick from across the entire team outside of the Rise. And yeah, this is going to feel like, to me at least, early game is where I'm looking.
Yeah, I mean, Cannon ult, Sona ult, Varus ult, those are all game-changing abilities that you are potentially gifting over to Impact. So that is very, very scary. At the same time, I do favor PVB's early game. If you do get that bot lane protected, if you have that in a pure 2v2, Sona and Varus are very oppressive. That is a tremendous amount of poke for this, Taric Tristana bot lane to actually deal with. And likewise, Rek'Sai should be running the show early against the Hecarim. Ryze has fantastic gank assistance. So there's certainly the ability to play around mid to try to punish Jensen, perhaps, to try to punish Smithy even in his own jungle in the 1v1.
And this so far in this series, when we first came into the day, we thought all eyes would be on top lane. It was Impact versus Zeros. That's where we thought the PvP might be able to find an advantage. Impact has been stalwart. He has been unshaken. This man will not be stopped on the top side, even losing in CS in some matchups, still able to impact the game. So will PvP change up their strategy, or will Zeros once again be the benefactor of so much attention on the top side of the map? A lot of avenues for both teams to attack here, but pressure is on for Fangbu Buffalo. They have the early game jungler, and they are on the cusp of being knocked down to round 3 tomorrow.
And for them, you have to feel like if they cannot get anything going, if they cannot protect this Sona in those early stages, then the ability to snowball the game, the ability to hard engage around neutral objectives for TL is very, very high with Hecarim in addition to that Taric.
And of course, once again, as we get into what very well could be the final game, TL 2 points up. Pallet, incredibly squishy. He has been an all-star for this team. Gallia performance in game 1 looking really good. This is the first time we're seeing him on a less tanky option. And you have to wonder, if we get late enough, is he just going to get deleted at the start of every fight, or can he find a way to impact these fights safely from a distance?
And you've also got to be so curious, how prepared were they to actually play out this style of game? So Impact is actually leveled as E. Doublelift is trying to bait someone over here potentially to try to get the Abscond Abduct onto him, but they're not going to be able to do it. And how many times have they actually practiced Sona support bot lanes as an answer to the Taric? Because I have not really seen a lot of people willing to kind of handshake that. Generally people say if you give up the Taric, well then you have to give up the Sona because the Sona is too risky by herself.
And if we exist in a pure 2v2 on the bottom side, Sona is miserable to play against. We've all had it in solo queue, but the second a jungler gets added to the mix, the 3v3 is just not favored. Sona's so incredibly squishy, and you can see not going for Ignite, not going for anything aggressive, has the exhaust, has a defensive option, matched as well by Core JJ. And once again, we will, I think, have a game where they are going to opt to leash. They're trying to give Smithy a super leash here. Looks like they will be starting the red buff as well as the Raptors here. Keeping both going, just trying to funnel XP into Smithy. Although he's going to get the reset on the camp. That's tragic.
So I think this actually may have been somewhat planned to try to get the little Raptor at the same time. I'm not quite certain, but perhaps this is something where he's not fully going to clear out that second camp. And because he actually has the Hunter's Talisman, he has the AoE lifesteal applied to all those little Raptors. So despite the fact that it resets, it's still actually much faster than had he done red into Raptors. So I still think this is, fairly successful. I'm not certain if you could have done it without it leashing at all, but that was a very quick level 2. And it does look like he's kind of off to the races already.
Now going to be able to get the bot side Scuttle Crab. Rek'Sai taking a very defensive path on the top side, going for the fast level 3, and Hecarim poised to isolate the bottom side of the map if he wants to push in and take away some of these jungle camps, and that's going to be very difficult for PVB. We've already talked about how vulnerable this Sona can be, especially when jungle attention is on the table.
Yeah, it definitely is the case, but Smithy will have to be careful about actually running into the Rek'Sai, and he's going to look mid.
Point click snare has already been used. Red buff ticking, almost likely going to have to flash to safety, but Meliodas is here, and they're giving him that respect.
Yeah, and I think without him at level 3, he wanted to be careful anyway, but look at that leap in. That is the combo I was talking about. You use the Bastion Dazzle, you jump on the Sona's head, and Flash is used immediately. Pallet's got to be careful.
Taking a lot of damage here. Dazzle will be up shortly, and Double Lift and Core JJ now in total control of the lane. Pallet was going to have to play so far back just to survive without the flash.
Yeah, the other nice thing about that little gank for Smithy is not only does it get some pressure removed, but he actually does leech experience for level 3. He's got to be careful here against Meliodas, though.
Out, knocking back Meliodas. They're fighting on top of the blue buff. Good damage is going to come in, but he manages to get the smite. Conqueror has now been proc. Jensen going over the wall. Meliodas flash out. Null, they're trying to find the kill onto Smithy. Meliodas is going to be in trouble. Moving in. Impact, though, coming down. First blood now trading 1-for-1. Kennen is here as well, but is not going to have enough immediate burst damage to stop this from going down. Jensen now going to go and has the red buff extended. Double kill for Jensen. Double kill for the Akali in the mid lane.
Oh, that goes so well for Team Liquid. They are first to collapse. 2 kills on the Akali and the double buffs to boot for Jensen is massive against this Ryze. Smithy playing that very well to actually delay with the Ghost. Look at him actually kiting around, avoiding Meliodas, then goes back in, is able to land the smite, secure the blue buff, get the heal off of that, and then Jensen flashing over, pushing Null back a little bit here, trying to block for him. Impact comes down with the flash, abscond, abduct. They're able to knock down Null here as well. He waits till the passive shield expires, then goes back in with the shuriken flip there to pick up another kill. And he is already sitting on that Hextech Revolver, which is such a strong laning item here. Jensen off to a fantastic start.
And normally Null might have hoped to threaten him, but the closer he gets to that Hextech Gunblade, the harder it's going to get. Now you can see with the double buffs, feeling so confident just to step forward here. It's only going to get harder. And once again, our attention has to shift to the bottom lane, ready at a moment's notice for anything to go down. Still a flashless Sona. She has the exhaust, but Smithy trying to make an impact into the mid lane. Null going to be knocked back. Jensen with the red buff. Needs a chance to apply it. Will not get it yet. Good bit of damage, though. Can't imagine he'll go back under the tower, but Jensen just absolutely smashing in that exchange. Meliodas waiting, hoping to find someone overextended, but standing right on a ward.
I mean, these are just great ganks from Smithy. You're just applying pressure, right? We just see Null TP back the lane. Well, guess what? Now you're down to half HP. You have to expend those health potions, and Meliodas, they're going to use this as well to try to go for that scuttle, but the bot lane from PVB has gotten some pressure going, and they are going to be the ones to roam up. Remember, again, if you cannot all in the Sona, and if you don't have your jungler there, they will poke you out, they will out-sustain you, so Double Lift here has to be careful, and they miss the stun.
Forward, a bit of a fumble there on the Dazzle. Core JJ with a slight mistime. Jensen now in trouble as well. The burst damage is so much from Null. He's going to grab those double buffs. Thank you very much. Smithy, though, now going to look for the turn on the bottom side. Core JJ, no flash. Double Lift, though, has his as well as the rocket jump. Where's the Dazzle going to go? Manages to connect on the Pallet. Coming in on the backside. Pallet's still alive for now. They are going to be able to take him down. That's 1 kill picked up. Zeros is here, but only a level 5 Kennen. Not going to pose much of a threat whatsoever. Can they keep the play going? Lethal Temple procs for Big Koro. Sarah's only going to be there to push out the way. Bit of a mistake, it feels like there. But the level 6 coming in perfectly timed. Sarah's can go for the dive. They have to execute this perfectly. Double buff on the rise. Level 6 from the Kennen. He's going to get the fight kicked off. Core JJ immediately going to get taken down. Flash out from Zeros. 1 to the Kennen. A stun on a double lift. He jumps back to safety. But that's 2 immediately picked up by PVB. They turn that play right on its head.
PVB doing such a good job to battle back. Now they want to continue the dive onto Smithy here.
Extending it. The Ghost now coming out from Smithy. Null trying to chase him down, but enough movement speed from the Hecarim to ferry him to safety.
Yeah, he is able to get out of there, but honestly, very good string of plays for PVB. Not only did they get the shutdown on Jensen, who kind of punished for using that Shroud so aggressively. When he doesn't have it, Meliodas comes over, they kill him, then Null and Zeros both down to that bot lane to get them going, and it's a CS advantage, it's an experience advantage, and the kill went on to Big Koro, so they're going to be feeling really good about their situation in this 2v2 again. Here is Jensen. He has no Shroud. He had already used it aggressively, so they punish him for that timing window, taking him out. They knew he had no flash, no ultimate to escape. Then down here on the bottom side, the initial teleport from Zeros did not look like it was going to get much done, but he hit 6 off the minions. Null has moved on down. In he goes with the ultimate, connecting on both Smithy and CoreJJ. They knock down CoreJJ first. Zeros walks out after taking a number of turret shots there. That was a clean dive from PVB.
And it was fumbles in the previous game that cost them so much, but this time around they're prepared, the execution there, and what looked like a very unfortunate TP. It turns into so much now for this team. 600 gold lead for PVB. Things are still a bit difficult. Impact was able to grab 2 plates on the top side in the meantime, but now it's Smithy. Meliodas taking a chance to reset a little bit. Meliodas, though, with the level advantage, and Impact trying to capitalize on the lack of cannon all here, going all in on this play, but the Rek'Sai is coming in as well. Zero's now going to retreat back to the safety of his junglers. Impact needs to play smart. If the cannon can stay at range, he's not going to have the opportunity to get the kill. Thrown down. Lot of C and sustain here on the Silas. The play continues forward, and Impact will just be able to back away.
Yeah, Impact drawing that pressure up there is able to calmly walk it out, and at the same time, they will grab the Ocean Dragon. So very well played there by Impact. Likely could have had the kill had Meliodas not made the move up. Zeros does now have his flash, or sorry, rather his ultimate doesn't have his flash, and the flash was not available for Meliodas either, so he could not get the kill on his own. This certainly is going to help out TL quite a bit to grab that Ocean Dragon, but Pallet has his flashback, so Sona's going to be harder to target, and it is now level 6 on the Varus, so when you have 6 on Varus and Sona, that is a very strong all-in potentially. You can crowd control up Doublelift or CoreJJ and potentially burst them down before Tarek actually hits 6 himself.
Yeah, see where the Cosmic Radiance can keep them alive. Pallet getting level 6 as well will be important, but Meliodas making his way to the bottom side of the map. Rek'Sai, the execution potential. If a fight gets kicked off by that Varus ultimate, is going to be massive.
Yeah, it would be really big, and kind of sneaking his way down around here. But Impact is punishing Zeros pretty heavily for that TP. So remember, Zeros TP'd bottom lane, and that whole time, Impact's just working away on the turret. So despite the fact that he did get a kill off of it, he's actually down in gold in that 1v1 because he has lost 4 turret plates. So Meliodas now here around the mid lane. Jensen likely has Shroud available. Yes, he does, as you can see in the bottom left of your screen. So you can't really go for that gank very effectively unless the Shroud is down. And in the meantime, Smithy just power farming. He is trying to get levels, trying to get experience on this Hecarim, and that is going to set him up for success later on.
Still willing to give us the blue buff, the energy regen over to Jensen, though. Team player, Smithy to the end.
Yeah, and I mean, Jensen has had an incredible series, right? He's been monstrous in both the 2 games. He does have 2 early kills, so despite the mistake allowing a shutdown, he's still in a great position, and you want to try to enable him to threaten an all-in here against Null.
Null grabbing the blue buff too, so I think the mid lane is set for a decent amount of action, but Smithy now trying to find a gank on the top side. Will at least clear out this control ward. Offer a bit of support for Impact, as Zeros is still able to just harass so much with this cannon on the top side of the map, though.
Yeah, and playing Klepto, has kind of kept gold pretty close, despite losing all those turret plates, and now Meliodas looking for Smithy.
Showing Smite traded back and forth. Ulti's coming in. Rek'Sai ulti comes out, but now he can respond in kind. Impact can use his. Meliodas not so incredibly low. Goes under, comes up, but Meliodas still alive. The whole team is now in the middle of the play. Jensen going to grab 1 kill. Smithy caught between Null and Zeros, though.
Smithy's dodging in a lot.
So much has been dodged out, as said. Now Null backing off. Jensen going to try to find the kill here. So much burst damage coming in from McCall. Not able to park the passive quite yet. Needs to step back if he wants to get it. Will they continue the play? Zeros alive and well, but Impact, once the Kingslayer comes back up, not going to get the chance. Just enough damage. Jensen, will he go back in the play? He's going to go for it, tries to find it, goes golden. Zeros is going to need to back off. They need to time everything perfectly. Jensen now in trouble. Null stepping forward, but the side steps are there. Shroud, not enough. Null finds him invisible and will grab the kill.
Yeah, Jensen getting greedy there, trying to go back in, just barely not able to take down Zeros, and does get punished. His Shroud came back up, but Null nails him with that Q. And here's the play again. Smithy down a level. You're not going to win this duel against the Rek'Sai, but he has the earlier roam here for Impact. But Meliodas does a good job buying a lot of time. He goes in the ultimate to avoid a lot of the early damage, then healing up some with his passive. They do slide forward and actually burst him out, but that's the ultimate now down from Jensen. Smithy dodging out a lot of those Qs from Rise, doing a good job avoiding some of that damage, makes this very close, but the passive shielding from Null was so huge, and Zeros ahead in health there means that they're not quite able to finish this off. Jensen now waiting for the Shroud cooldown. That is why he delayed so long. In with the Q, barely not able to kill the cannon off. Then Shroud comes back up, but he does get finished off, and PVB coming out very ahead.
Ooh, Impact next on the menu, but the Shuriken not able to connect, cannot find the stun, and Impact able to walk away. Zeros burning his flash for nothing there. Now they have to be careful. A lot of damage coming in from Jensen. The TP back out to safety, but the Macro Sun is there. He's gonna need to find the 2v1. Big Core now in trouble as well. Double going in for the kill, gonna look for the reset, gets it on the rocket jump. Pallet next on the list if they try to dive the Sona. No ultimate available, but the flash is there for Pallet. Goes golden, buys a bit of time as Double is forced to retreat. Smithy gonna grab that one as well. Blood across the map, but everything going in favor of Team Liquid.
Yeah, it all just kind of fell apart there for PVB. They had made so many great plays for themselves. Despite the fact that Jensen started out with 2 early kills, they had really shut him down. Null had picked up 5 straight kills. Now their bot lane gets dove, dies, they're losing the plates. Jensen gets 2 more kills. They lose nothing across the map. And TL just got so much in this last minute of the game. So here it is one more time. Impact finding Meliodas over by that, steals the Kennen ultimate, getting so much damage down, delaying a lot of time as well. He just straight up 1v2 kills Meliodas, bursting him down with the Kennen's own ult, then using the Kingslayer to finish it off, and now Null trying to make the roam up. But Impact just gets out of there. The Q didn't miss from Zeros. He retreats, Jensen moves down. Null TPing in the face of an Akali. Come on, you know he has a stun, and Jensen's able to easily execute on that. Impact healing up, dodging out, and Jensen gets that one, and now it's another fight.
Comes out, but they've been locked in the pit. Impact has a Sona ult of his own. He can jump right in the middle and throw it down onto the team. Double up here to fire to rain hell from the backside, but Jensen is zoning off the 2 solo laners by himself. TL pushing the entire team out of the pit.
Yeah, and this one is just going all wrong for PVB now. With this sort of lead, you have to think this is the game where TL can close out this series. PVB is going to need some monstrous playmaking to get back into this one, because when you fall behind, it's so easy to execute the all-in from the side of Team Liquid. Hecarim ult, Taric ult, everyone diving forward. So many squishy immobile targets to pick from. And TL is massively ahead in the goal at this point of the game. We're not even at 14 minutes. The plates are just now falling, and they are 3.5k ahead.
And Jensen now fearlessly entering the play. They know that the sun's already been burned. Null is going to be able to walk away. Jensen, though, taking a step back, using the second proc of the ultimate to make it out. Null has to be scared. The strongest individual member of his team, most certainly, but Jensen completely unafraid in that mid lane matchup.
Yeah, I mean, he has 5 kills of his own, so he's looking good in that 1v1, despite the fact that Null is doing very well, and Pala has got to be so careful. Doublelift just went back to base, spent up. He's on 1.5 items, IE plus the Zeal and Zerkers means he can knock down a lot of these squishy members in a couple autos. You know, there's not really any tanky stats whatsoever that are being purchased up by them. This is a Warrior Rek'Sai. Everyone is full on squishy. As long as Impact and Smithy can create kind of this zone of threat alongside Jensen in a Shroud, it's so hard for PvP to move forward. And if Double is freeze firing on any of them, they're going to die so fast.
Smithy pushing into the enemy jungle, now threatening as well. And the thing that you don't even mention there that's so important is, well, Impact's about to try to solo kill Meliodas. Will throw down the ultimate. Immediately the Kennen ult is going to respond, though. Impact has probably overstayed his welcome here. Is just going to be the 1-for-1 on the ult trade. Meliodas set to give his life now as another kill gets traded back. Or just a 1-for-1 in the end.
Yeah, not too bad. I would say, you know, it's probably worth it with the Dragon up, because it now means that PvP can actually challenge for that Dragon, because not only did he kill off the jungler, he got the ult out of Zeros. So you cannot take a 4v4 team fight when your Kennen has no ultimate. This means you're going to cede not only the Dragon, you're going to give up the turret. You have Jensen pushing on that top side of the map, and it's all just falling apart now for PvB. It's going to be up, it feels like, to Null to really make something happen. He is their lone strong member. Everyone else is falling pretty significantly behind at this point in the game.
And really at this stage, with this much of a lead, it feels so incredibly difficult for PvP to come back. And I think the one thing that we didn't get a chance to talk about when you're breaking down how far this team is ahead is that the Taric ult wasn't even factored in there yet. So even if TL are starting a fight, they are most likely starting it with that Taric ult to support, and it's almost impossible for Rek'Sai, as you said, who's all burst damage, to get anything done in that 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, you're going to have to hope that you can catch TL split up. If you can catch someone out with a CC, you know, maybe an engage with a Varus ultimate or something along those lines. If you can burst them down before they actually get over to the rest of their team, that would be great. But it is going to be very difficult if you cannot get the forward vision to actually set up those sorts of picks. In a straight up front to back 5v5, both teams see each other and run at each other. TL is going to win, you know, 9 times out of 10. So for PvB, they have to kind of change the paradigm a little bit here, be able to look for these plays that TL are not expecting, be able to come at them from multiple angles, and look for picks in the side lane just like this, which is, you know, I think a smart way to try to attack them. But unless Jensen expends the Shroud for trading, It's so hard to take him down.
Yeah, the Shroud as well as the ultimate. There's a lot of good chain CC between the Rise and the Rek'Sai, but Jensen with so much mobility as well as the stealth feels. When Akali is not innately super squishy, it just feels nigh impossible to take him down. Meliodas though stepping forward. Shroud does come out. Tremor Sense will give him a loose sense of where the Akali is. Jensen though just going to back away. Has the option to jump back to the Shroud. Can't do so, but instead will just expend both ult charges to move down towards the mid lane. So good dodge on the gank.
Yep, does expend the ultimate, so no kill threat for a little bit, but at the same time, they got mid lane turret. They take away the entire side of the jungle as well from Meliodas, so certainly, going to be punished for that attempt. Impact pushing up. He's already on his proto belt, working towards what is likely a Ludens, so a very aggressive build here from Impact, and he has stolen away a Kennen ult. He's level 11, so that does mean it's rank 2 now that he is taking from Zeros. Just basically has a better version of Zeros' ult.
Yeah, and Zeros, frustrating situation to be in. He was able to use that range advantage so much early on to bully out to get those Klepto stacks. Now that he's put in a difficult situation with no information where the jungler is, he just has to back away. Tough how much this has shifted. Once again, Fangfu Buffalo, home soil, match point. The pressure is on, and it feels like they're going to have to dig so incredibly deep to find a way back into the game, because now that TL have a lead, now that they've broken these outer towers, we're right back to seeing what they did in K1, which is the slow, calm closeout where they just take every single resource they can from PVB.
And there's just so many people in front of Doublelift, so many ways to protect Doublelift, and he's on an incredibly strong scaling champion, 2,000 gold ahead of Big Koro. And that is, a monumental task for PVB to try to get back into. But we need to see PVB continue to fight for vision as Pallet is doing now, try to look for picks, try to find their way in. The Baron is not even on the table just yet, so they don't have to worry about that for a couple minutes, but that certainly is going to be an area of the map that TL want to take full control over. They want to set a vision in this area because the Baron is going to give them such an easy way to end the game through the Tristana sieging.
The Tristana already at 2 items, may just go for the QSS next to keep herself alive. Of course, has a lot of protection. Pallet. Looks like they were ready to fish for a play over the wall on a double and Core JJ in the mid lane, but it is spotted out. Good vision in the jungle going to pay off. Smithy just constantly stepping forward and threatening. We'll bait the Chilling Smite and double it. Premier access there to the mid lane. We'll step up and get a few autos down. So TL taking their time here, but the bot side of the map is being pinged out. PVB need to be able to respond. And I feel like TL are just poking at the armor, looking for a weak point. The second someone missteps, it feels like they are ready to punish.
Yep, exactly. Core JJ is trying to get vision in the side of the jungle. They want to continuously farm this away, move back and forth between. They essentially have the shorter route between those two tier 2s. That means Doublelift just goes straight down to bot lane when they show up mid. They get a tower there, and now they will rotate back up to mid lane. 5 members strong here for TL. So if PVB is not together, they gotta be careful.
Pack now stepping forward, uses the stolen crescendo. One traded back in return. Rek'Sai goes down, but immediately the Torrent now going to come out. Impact still left up and standing. Core JJ caught out under the tower. Will fall off. Zeros to the backside, takes up Impact, flashes in the middle of the team. That's going to be a massive cannonball, but the knockback from Doublelift is clutch to disengage the fight. The rest of TL now on the retreat. Core JJ may just have to give his life. His Null is teleporting back in. The Dazzle is there. The ulti comes out, but Pallet now not where he wants to be. The team is there to back him up. The shutdown down onto Hecarim, and PVB have found the play they needed.
And they could go for Baron. That was so unneeded for TL to try to force that dive. Impact going forward with the Sona ult. He does steal it, but Pallet gets the critical counter ultimate out to stay alive, and this is going to be PVB taking a Baron perhaps here. Jensen teleporting back in. Doublelift is in the area, and it's going down somewhat slow, so they will have an opportunity to try to get them off this.
A lot of incredibly low health bars. Meliodas low as well. Jensen smells blood in the water, wants to find this play. Safe in the Shroud for now. No ultimate for the Akali, but Doublelift not afraid to step forward. Impact is here as well. Steals Tavares' ultimate. They are going to get absolutely routed. TL are looking for a slaughter. There's going to be another reset. Doublelift can go right over the wall. Can continue to chase down PVB if he wants to. But instead, we'll take the time to back off. Instead, they set their sights on the Baron. They want to take the free objective.
Exactly. It's going to be the counter Baron now for TL. I respect the play. That was a play to win for PVB. They are not going to take the small victory. They know they're massively behind. They needed to take a risk. They go for it, but they do get pushed off the Baron, and it is now 100% going to be TL's. They will secure this. They have a massive gold lead and everything they need to close this one out.
Baron, 7K gold to sale. We look back at this, and it looks so good for PVB.
Yeah, so Impact goes in. Pallet was so quick on the counter ultimate. Both Big Koro and Pallet flashed backwards, and they get the counter ult out. So Impact is pushed so incredibly low. Yes, he lives through the initial play, but all of their cooldowns were used defensively. CoreJJ expending everything to keep Impact alive when he just goes down anyway, instead of it being used as they're diving forward, instead of being used to kind of kill off those squishy members. And that bought PVB so much time. And then they make the risky play. They go to the Baron. It's 5v2, but they're so low and they do not have cooldowns. So Jensen teleporting back in, buying time, Impact respawns, stealing the Varus ultimate, locking up the two carries here, knocking down the Varus, chasing down Null as well. Very well played and making up for somewhat of his earlier mistake, but definitely could have cost them heavily had they lost that Baron.
Could have, but instead things turn once again to be even greater in their favor. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That is the storm that Fong Group Buffalo are going to have to weather. And even after that, Azale, massive, massive gold lead in favor of Team Liquid.
Yeah, it's a huge gold lead at this point of the game. 7K ahead. You can see stopwatches in the inventory of Impact and Smithy trying to prevent any potential comeback. QSS ready for doublelift as well. Varus ultimate going to get dropped there, but it's for nothing. And meanwhile, Jensen is working away at this turret. It's going to be so hard for them to stop this siege.
And Jensen also going to be able to burn the Banshees Veil there. I don't think they're going to push for anything other than the tower in that exchange, but you check the items, you talk about the stopwatches, but also the Warrior Trinity Force Hecarim. And Smithy now a very lethal threat to everyone on that back line. You've got the Silas as well, you've got the Akali, you've got even doublelift who's far enough ahead to leap in aggressively, and it feels like that back line is not safe. And there's not really a front line. Pretty much everyone is a back line.
It's all these squishy members, and that's why it's about catching someone, bursting them down. But they don't have the Varus ultimate. They do have the Sona ultimate as well as that from the Kennen, but they don't have flashes on any of their members right now, so it's hard to see how they could get back to doublelift, who does have both his ult and flash. He did expend the QSS on the Varus ultimate earlier, but still going to be very tough to get back to that Tristana, and without being able to do so, it's tough to see how they win an extended fight.
And for Big Koro, impressed that he feels even comfortable approaching that tower. Zeros continuing to struggle. Impact has now stolen the Kennen ult as well, so the dive threat is real. Banshees is there for Zeros, but there is no stopwatch.
Yeah, and without a stopwatch, you certainly can be turned on and focused down. You do take a lot of damage, and there's so much burst on the side of TL. I think for PVB, they really want to wait for flashes. It feels like for them to win a fight, you have to hope that you can find some sort of a flanking ward, that you can find some sort of a way into that backline.
And Smithy just threatening there with the devastating charge, trying to lay down a bit of damage with that Sheen-empowered auto onto the tower. But TL struggling really to break down. Tristana really their only strong source of sieging, lacking a really strong front line themselves as well.
Yeah, they definitely are, but at the same time, these turrets are all getting whittled away on. They are farming out the entire PVB jungle. You can see that the gold lead is just extending during this. They are now almost 10,000 gold ahead, and they are threatening on that bottom side.
Arrow now trying to turn it back. Tark just now getting the chance to ultimate. Will they kill CoreJJ before it comes down? No, he's still alive. Impact on the front line, buying time for doublelift to back off. Smithy ready to go in. Jensen now running back to the mid lane. Gonna may try to get more damage down onto the tower. Arrow comes out, but not a lot of damage. PVB holding on, but forced to use that Kennen ulti. TL may just try to rinse and repeat here. Only level 14 for Silas, but he can steal another ulti soon.
Yeah, the three-man squad gonna back off. They will retreat likely to this dragon, so PVB do weather the storm. They keep their inhibitors alive. These inhibitor towers are very, very low for them, but they're not gonna get cracked. They are still, though, falling more and more behind as far as the gold goes, and TL gonna grab a second ocean, which can help in those protracted siege situations.
And just only gets harder for PVB, right? The gold lead continuing to extend. Yes, they can still hope for that dream fight, but Tark going to be able to go back by a redemption. Does not have exhaust, but still has the Flash. Will have the Cosmic Radiance soon. And
honestly, for TL, this is about more than just this series. This whole tournament for them is kind of about redemption, trying to get some redemption for last year and their performance at MSI, where they did fall short in the tiebreaker against Fnatic, where there was turmoil amongst the team with Ole stepping down and feeling like, hey, they're underperforming, they're not able to match the expectations. TL has been retooled, rebuilt with international success as their goal. They have brought in CoreJJ, they have brought in Jensen, and they are trying to work towards that. A 3-0 here would be the first step towards redeeming themselves for last year, towards performing better at an international tournament. And for doublelift, trying to make it out of groups for the first time, he has been unable to do so despite having so much regional success.
And doublelift has been very candid about his goal to find international success, but for now, Jensen is going to be in trouble, does go golden, nullifies some of those ultimates there, and we'll just be able to back out. Jensen, I think, just fishing for the play, and Impact in the meantime is going to be able to break down this tower and fish for an inhibitor as well. So TL just putting down a bit of pressure as they set up for this Baron. PVB may have one final fight on their hands. Null now trying to find the option to go in. Impact needs to be careful here. The flash out. Sconn will be available shortly. Can dash again to try to get to safety. And Team Liquid will now take that as an opportunity to push out the mid lane and pressure out on this Baron.
Yeah, a nice little roam from Null to the side lane. Does trade his ultimate for a flash, but Impact showing a lot of respect there. Does not want to get caught off before the Baron does spawn. Even more pressure being put, though, in this side lane, and he will reset, regroup with the team. Now has a full Zhonya's. A lot of these guys sitting on 3+ items.
All of PVB are here, however. Xmithie's going to be able to walk away quite easily. Jensen, though, has to burn the flash to get to safety. Impact still coming in, has the TP. If they want to push for a greater play, that bottom lane inhibitor open right now.
Yeah, this marksman difference is just so enormous at this point in the game, though. You can look at the itemization, 2.5 items there for Big Koro. Doublelift, a full item really ahead. He's up over 4,000 gold and is going to put out so much more damage than his opponent. The turn off of Baron could be very strong here for TL if they can coordinate on it. Jensen is laying in wait. He wants to look for a flank.
Trying to find the option. Xmithie going to open up with the ult. Melio just goes golden, but the whole team is there to punish. For now, they are just backing off, taking away the Banshees, though, playing it slow, stealing the Kennen ult away, level 15 on Impact.
And that is both the flash off Pallet and Null. So that is how they avoided that Xmithie ult, but now they still have the threat of TL onto this Baron, and Jensen still threatening to turn and fight. Taric ultimate is still available here for TL, but Xmithie is taking a lot of damage on the Baron, so they have to be somewhat careful about that.
Now backing off, Core JJ with a decent amount of healing, but would have to step into the pit to heal it up, but immediately Impact jumps in, out comes the stolen Cannonball ultimate, and Pallet will drop. Very well could be the final fight. Abscond, Abduct not going to connect. Whole team healing up as they push forward. The Shroud comes in as well. Jensen's going to leap forward. They're going to try to take down Null. Double lift as well. Zeros is ulting, but not on the members he needs to hit. They've gotten golden. The Cosmic Radiance is everything that they needed. Big Koro knockback. Double continue to clean up. Him and Jensen running through the enemy team. One more reset on the jump. Double lift wants the triple. He's pushing in for a little bit more impact here as well. Team Liquid in one final explosive fight may have just won the series.
Yeah, it looks like they've done it here. They're going to close this one out 3-0 over PVB. Fighting valiantly around that Baron, but TL too many ways in for the engage. They run out of summoners, and TL finds their fight and will take the series.
Zos coming out, focusing on the Nexus. TL dominate PVB on home soil, and they will qualify for the MSI main stage.
Definitely a very exciting series, but Team Liquid certainly in control throughout this one. Extremely dominant final game. PVB had a small glimpse of hope there where they could have perhaps gotten the Baron, but they are pushed off, and that really was, it felt like their final chance in this series as Team Liquid had answers for what PVB were trying to do at every turn. They were playing the map better. They were laning even, very, very well. And it's tough for PVB, but they need to keep their heads high and focus on the fact that there is one more best of 5 for them to get into groups.
And I think when you look back on this for all of TL, this is a good sign for the LCS fans out there to dominate 3-0 in this fashion, to look good. After game 1, when there were maybe a few question marks, to close so confidently as a team, fans going up for the high fives, and can't blame them. You brought up Double Lift earlier. It's a career, covered in domestic success, but has never been able to find it on an international stage. Now with Jensen, now with Core JJ, a guy that the team has called, their anchor, their rock. They're looking very good, especially up against PVB.
Yeah, they definitely are. And I think for Team Liquid,